This is a wake-up call for humanity. Those who have been tortured, abused, downtrodden, gaslighted by elites and agents of this world. This is going to be an expose, a meta-analysis, if you want to call it that, of the hidden vampire society that includes elites, angels of error, Anunnaki, wolfmen, and aliens. And I know when you hear me say those words, you're like, what is this black lady in a turban about to talk about? What kind of sci-fi fantasy film is she about to talk about? But I assure you, I'm here to bring the boogeyman into the light and show you the real life monsters who have been abusing us for years upon years. And for generations upon generations, they have deflected us and told us that we are crazy. We don't know what we're talking about, and that we are schizophrenic. But the truth shall remain. This video is for all races of people, white people, black people, especially black people, because you have issues with understanding what's at work here. So I'm here to make it very clear, easy for you to understand. And this video will go beyond flesh because it talks about a seed that is at work here, that camouflages in human form, but by the characteristics, you know that they are not human. This video will also include the deal that mankind, religious, pious men, have made with these vampires of society in order to gain technological advancement and dominion over people.
Back in 1954, I'll give you a quick overview. There was the created 1954 treaty where Eisenhower signed a pact with the known alien species of the time. There were 3 at the time.
And yes, we're gonna get all into this video. So this is gonna be long. Add me on YouTube, guys. They're probably gonna delete my video on TikTok, whatever, but this is the truth. As we embark on the year of the dragon, daddy dragon and all. But yeah, we're gonna talk about all of that and what is to come. Actually, this is really about the angels, because they pretend like they're the good guys, but they only want to keep you guys here because it's the only way they have dominion in the society. It is the only way they have power in the society. So they tell you that they're fighting for humanity, but no, they're not. They're fighting to keep you as slaves, these angels, these people in the hubs of the octopus. But I'm here to bridge the conspiracy into the religious, into the reality. Okay, guys? And this video is going to include testimonies, physical and evidence, graphic photos, my personal testimony, scriptural evidence, and also evidence within our real lives, news stories that they have posted. And it will all bridge in and give you the why of why this is happening. So first and foremost, a lot of us have experienced some weird things. Some weird things that our realities or the powers of our realities tell us don't exist. But yet we experienced it in our real life. And then they tell us that our testimony is not enough. Our experience is not enough. Yet we can go on Yelp and rate their businesses, and our experience can be the reason why a business closes down. But yet they tell us when we speak about the truth of this world that our experiences are invalid and they mean nothing, but they mean everything. So for many of years, people have been experiencing unusual stuff that they have been afraid to talk about for the fear of being called crazy or being deflected or being told that you didn't see what you saw. But I'm here to validate all of you. So some people have seen weird things, such as seeing others with their eyes blackened and bulging out. Some people have seen ghosts or spirits that they cannot explain. Some people have seen murders that include organs being removed. People have seen people's bodies drained of blood. Some people have seen children with their faces ripped and eyes plucked out and discarded on grass as if they were tissue paper. Some people have experienced sex trafficking. Some people have experienced being in cults that required them to do depraved things.
Baby skulls.
From before?
Yeah, from before. We put it on.
Where did the baby skulls come from?
They come from the baby.
And some people have experienced having agents in their life speak things to them that nobody should actually know. And they say it in such a covert way that you don't really outwardly acknowledge it, because it would make you seem as if you were crazy. Like the Truman Show. Some people experience this deja vu, like you've done it all before. And some people have experienced things that don't really make sense. Like they can hear things or they see things that this world tells you is not real, but you've experienced it. And if someone can tell you that something you experience is not real, then you should really look at them with an eyebrow raised. Okay? So let's get into things that are happening in reality that don't make sense. So in this reality, we have powers and authoritative figures who do very questionable stuff. For example, we have a current president, Joe Biden, who has been videoed on live television touching children inappropriately. And yet he remains in power. We have a Dalai Lama who was pictured kissing a boy he did not give birth to on the lip. We have celebrities talking about food, making references of food that make no sense in the contextual structure of the sentence. And when you think about all these things, that these powers, that these people are all doing all this questionable stuff, yet no one talks about it, that should then make you question what is actually going on here. And not only is this recognized in Hollywood elite or the powers that be here, but we recognize this in our regular lives, don't we? We recognize extremely unusual, calloused behavior from certain individuals in our small, real lives. Such as people who do things that make you question, are they even human? That do sneaky, extremely vindictive things in reality. People that watch you at your job. People that would do things like cheat on you relentlessly over and over and over and tell you that they love you. People that do things like steal from you. People that don't do things that are human, that you know that you just wouldn't do because it's not right, because it causes so much harm to another person. What we're experiencing in our real life is a whole bunch of liars. But beyond these definitions and labels, I assure you that these people come from a seed that where we would never do something like that, they're able to do so easily and so frequently. And now I'm going to bridge it all together, because yes, I am going to mention something within the Bible, but it is only to bring context and understanding why this is all happening. Because we can all observe that, this is happening. This is happening. Who, what, where, when, how. But if we don't know why, we don't understand it. Okay? So, in the Bible, that has been taught by many priests who are undercover snakes, who seek to just keep people operative within their system with the 66 books that they have made, that they have thought to be divinely inspired, in which they removed others. At the very beginning, the punishment was decreed for a serpent to eat dust for all of their life. And, many people read this and they're like, this sounds fake. What is this? This don't make no sense. But if we actually look at the truth of our realities, what has been provided as evidence from science, what has been provided from evidence of our real experiences, you will know that that is in fact true. The reason why is that, in fact, we are made of dust. Do you know that? Science has told us that we are made of cosmic dust. We're also told that we are carbon. Carbon is also another form of dust. And within the biblical text that people say and read and say are not true, it tells us that we were made from the dust. Science corroborates that in real life, yet they tell you that it's not true. So we find out that the serpent was decreed to eat dust for all their life, right? We also find out that the serpent doesn't necessarily represent a snake. It represents a fallen creature that disobeyed God, according to the biblical text. And God is essentially known as the creator of heavens and the earth. Now, if we address that in the parameters of reality, we understand that human to human, none of us can recreate the earth that we all exist and cohabitate on as neighbors. None of us are able to recreate it. None of us are able to understand why we're here outside of theories and outside of biblical text. Or some of us know that we come from somewhere else because of something that is within. But that's for a soul talk that I will leave later. We're just sticking to the parameters of reality and truth right now. So we understand that none of us know why we exist, yet it's intellectually designed. Even our bodies are intellectually designed with a purpose, with everything having a purpose to work in reason, in collaboration. So that means that because we know that our bodies, every part of our bodies has a purpose, the things within creation has a purpose, such as the trees, they create life, such as the grass, such as all of this has a purpose. That means it has a why. Yet, in this society, they tell you, don't worry about the why. Just go on what you can observe. Because they don't want to acknowledge the truth that there is something higher. So when we understand that, okay, in truth and reality, we don't even know why we exist, according to the people that say they're educated and really knowledgeable. And everything has a design, a reasoning, or a purpose to why it does what it does. And then we recognize that there are some evil beings in this society that do weird things that don't make sense to us being human, because it feels wrong within our hearts. So when we look at that punishment, and then we also understand that we are made of dust according to truth, science, and reality. And then we told that the serpent is cursed to eat dust all the days of their life. And we know that as humans, we are dust. Whether you know that from a biblical text or whether you know that from science, you know that. So then it comes to question, who is the serpent? Who comes from this serpent? What does it mean that he's going to eat dust? So when we look at the biblical text, we understand that the serpent represents a fallen angel. Yes, a fallen angel. And an angel is described as a messenger of God. But to be fallen means to be away from God. I was with God. No, I'm gone. Fallen. You know, that's what a fallen angel represents. That's what the serpent represents. And when we understand that, we can go back to the book of Enoch that was removed, you know, out of that 6 Bible books that they got going on here, that was removed from that. It tells you a little bit more about these fallen angels. So we're told that there's a being that eats dust, and they have to eat it for all the days of their life in order to live. And then we look at some things in reality. And some things in reality just don't make sense to being human. You know, there are people who have cannibal restaurants in reality. There are people that talk about eating the flesh of children, drinking the blood of children, making jokes of it.
But somehow you both look the same age there. I mean, you know, there's something to be said for being with a younger man.
I suck baby's blood and put it on my face.
Okay.
Just joking, Hollywood world. No, I think that when you're with someone...
But in reality, is that actually funny as a human? You imagine a bouncing baby that you took 9 months to deliver. And I'm going to say I drink the blood of that baby. That I put their blood on my face as a joke. And you tell me if that's funny as a human being. But I digress. So, you know, we recognize some weird things going on in reality. People talking about drinking blood, eating human flesh, and using human flesh as clothes. So me in particular, I told you guys that I've experienced rather unusual things, such as seeing, children with their faces ripped in a ritualistic manner, their knees broken, organs removed, and things such as that. And, you know, many a times the news stories report these stories. Harvard thing is organ trafficking. This person is caught for organ trafficking, but seldom do people even ask why they would need to do that. Who in the world needs body parts that bad? I mean, we know that there are people that want to continue to live, who would seek these organ parts, but the depravity or the nature of how these deaths are happening are unusual. For example, there are people that have their eyes plucked out, and in fact, the book of Enoch talks about that. So it corroborates that in real life, because I've seen people with their eyes plucked out. I couldn't seem to understand why. Not only that, in the movie Get Out, we see, they make things seem like it's a movie, fantasy, but the truth is it's happening in real life. We see that the man wanted his eyes because his eyes were not that great. So we find out that there is a species within the Bible that is cursed to eat dust all the days of their life in order to continue their life. So boom, as human beings, we are made of dust, and the serpent is made to eat us. So here we're told that we're on the top of the food chain, right? We're told that we're on top, that we are in control and we have dominion. But in fact, there's a species here that is feeding off of us, that only can make sense in the parameters because of the deaths that we've seen, that people just say it's just a mystery unsolved, but the truth is the mystery is right there. And I'm going to share a personal experience with you just so you guys understand, is that I have been outreached to by the wolves of society and by the angels of society. And I chose none of their sides, of course, but with the wolf, there was a means of where they wanted me to participate in their society. Not only that, he would say very odd things to me that back then didn't quite make sense because I didn't understand it as I do now. He would say things like they invited me to this place, and he said, that he was going to eat me if I didn't get things right, and that he had a problem with me putting eye drops in my eyes. And I couldn't understand why. But it all made sense to me because this is what they do. They harvest people's body parts. And why you see such a degree of missing children here is because the children have body parts that are new, that are not defiled or disrupted, so that they can have longer lasting lives within this flesh, within this earth. Because on earth, this is where they reign. They are made on top. And we're told this in Genesis because they feed off of us. They are on the top of the food chain. So we understand that the serpent represents fallen angels, meaning people that had secrets of heaven. And in this world, a lot of humanity is misguided by people that call themselves angels, of hubs where they have control over hubs and regions, like an octopus tail, which is why in the conspiracy community you'll see the mention of octopus, and all they will show you is the symbol of octopus, but they won't tell you what it means or why they use those ideals. And these angels of error are not to be confused with the angels of the Most High, the great God. So now I'm going to bring in Anunnaki. Because in these last days, in these end of times, there are people that are trying to turn you to go to the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki is your gods. The Anunnaki. But the truth is that even within this Bible, where they removed all those things, they can't remove the truth from it. And the truth is that in Genesis, it talks about they making the humans in the image of them, of multiple gods. And we're told about multiple gods within that text. We're told that. And the Anunnaki uses humans in a way of servitude, of slavery, of constant work, of constant extraction of energies in order to gain what they need for them to continue to be like gods, which comes from the reference of the false idol. So the Anunnaki is in fact evil because it wants to keep the human as a slave, as a servant, to serve its needs as a false idol. And they do exist. And what they've done here is they try to villainize the great God, the one who was the God of Israel, who is the God of Israel, the God of Jacob, Yahweh. So you will find that many people will make evil references to Yahweh. Oh, he murdered this, he murdered that. Because the false idols that they serve, the gods that they serve, want to keep humanity continued in this slavery. Because by this dust, by this flesh, you are continued food. You are a continued supply for the one that was cursed from the very beginning. So this is why I'm on my page. I like to speak in raw truth and make the connections for you so you understand why. And who, in fact, are those Anunnaki? who in fact are those fallen angels? Well, let's get more into it, guys, because this is very deep and it goes deep. See, we go so hard about the Jews, which I will talk about in another video because they don't scare me. But the Jews are just a vessel, a people here to further a false idol. They are only like puppets used to mask who actually is pulling the strings. Okay, so beyond the Jews who caused the death of Christ, is who gave them the orders to do that. And it was in fact vampires who were powering the Jews. The vampires that they've romanticized in their movies. They tell you, oh, they're such passionate creatures and they're so romantic. And humans are so magnetized towards them. But in fact, they're the torturers, they're the murderers, and they're the slave masters in this society. And in testimonials, people talk about the things that are going on here, such as factories in which people order babies on platters.
I witnessed thousands of murders, largely of children of color, who were systematically targeted for their race by the white supremacist government. I have seen wealthy, aristocratic white women ordering children of color on menus to be delivered dead, cooked on platters.
To eat. And this is why they eat, is because they were cursed to do so. And when dealing with a curse that makes people revile you or makes people hate you, they have to keep it a secret, which then bridges into how mankind is involved with this vampire society. And the way this vampire society is powered is by technology. Because remember, who in fact are the vampire society? People that feed off of dust, feed off of humans. That includes fallen angels. That includes the hybrids that they gave birth to. That includes the mighty men that was talked about as their fruit, as the seed that they bore. And this is how they work. We have giants here. People have seen things that they say don't exist. And the reason why they do that is to make you not understand that what is of ancient is still here. What is of ancient is still here, guys. So when we find out that we in fact have an elite vampire society who would be reviled in real life by humans would hate them because you eat us. Like, what the heck? You eat our children. You torture our children. You enslave us. So of course they'll hate you. So they have to be of secret. It's to make a deal with mankind. Okay. So in Book of Enoch, we're told that the fallen angels gave mankind a lot of different things. Gifts, guys. That's why, gift giving is such a big thing with the Nimrod and Christmas and all of that. Is always to focus on what we can give you, gifts that don't really help you but hurt you in the end, whether that's through vanity or pride, or whether that's through murdering and hurting each other, trying to steal from one another. And this is why Christ talks about loving thy neighbor, loving humanity, and not only that, but repose and rest. But regardless, when it comes to the Book of Enoch, we're told that these angels in fact did those things, and they had technology. They had access to technology, tin, dross, metals. They had access to that, and they taught that to the men. So in this society where they have to remain which is hidden, where the Freemasons come in. They have to remain quiet, because if they don't, then it exposes what's been going on here from those who are on high, in the sky, in heaven. But remember that there are mentions of multiple heavens. But these people who claim to be of good here are in fact using humanity to extract their energy, to extract their flesh, to extract their dust, to increase their life. And that's told in movies. One of the great movies, Dr. Sleep, really goes into depth of how they try to take the breath out of others, and they torture the child in order to increase the adrenochrome, the high that they get from the fearful humans as they eat them. And they make this fantasy, but it's not fantasy. And this is why you'll see people like Stephen King talking about Mars needs children, okay? Mars is representative of another planet, but meaning another realm that is higher than you guys, where they do the things they do so openly. So, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein Island is a bit of a distraction, meaning is that, really what's going on high is that's why you'll see like the mention of aliens taking people and doing all these experiments on people, sometimes removing their body parts, guys. This is why you'll hear stories like that, because it's coming from, the truth is it's coming from those people on high who have made deals with mankind. And a lot of these mankind are religious, pious men, because remember that the angels come from God's realm, so they have that nature to be of good, or to be of a light, but they're a false light because they have been removed from the light. So they no longer have the light, but they can only go on what they had in before. And that's why people like Jeffrey Epstein, who is human, or whatever, they might have hidden him at this point, could be used as a scapegoat, because then it makes it all into man not recognizing the error of the angels and what they've been doing here to stay alive. And they'll use people, they'll use people, and they'll discard people because they really meant nothing to them. They're just a means of how to keep being alive. And these people will falsely call themselves immortal, but you are not immortal if you need other things to sustain you. And that's just the honest to God truth, okay, guys? So that's what is representative of them, okay? That's why Christ is the good, because he tries to remove you from the slavery, the imprisonment of your food supply to them. But either way, I digress. And another thing that you guys need to know is that these angels can transform. They look human just like you. They can breed with you. This is also talked about the reptilians and the Chitauri, like things like that. They can breed with us, but they have weaker vessels. They can have a lot of ailments, and sometimes they'll have you with them so that they can take something from you eventually. That's how they hide, but many a times they have a lot of health problems, And another thing that they do here is the marriage stuff. So I want to talk to you guys about the marriage stuff here, so you understand what it really means. You know how you can marry someone from a foreign country in order for them to get a green card to live in America? Well, what if I told you that that is just a layer of what they're actually doing to save themselves? So in these end of times, their reign is coming to an end, which is why they're all in chaos right now, and which is why the earth is in chaos right now, because something is happening where people are going against each other. People are starting to fight against each other. And things are happening, and they're scared, they're confused, they're worried, and they need to marry human people in order to continue to camouflage. I don't know if you guys know about this artist. Her name is Baby Storm, and she's talented. She makes great music, but she kind of told on herself in a caption. So in the caption, she marries this foreign guy, and also I was dating a foreign guy, which is why I know what the vibes are, really. And they got married very soon, and the caption is very telling of what the situation. So the layer I want to address here is that people, this society got you comfortable with the idea of marrying a foreigner in order to live or be known as a citizen, a natural citizen, because of that, what is going on up there. These people have to marry in order to camouflage themselves in these end of times, because that's what they hope to do. They extract the energy from the human so that they can continue to live these human lives, because something is going on up here there that they're very scared of, that they don't want you to know about. And which is why you'll hear about like Angel Gabriel or these false angels here who are allegedly helping humankind, but they only want to keep you as slaves here, or keep you so that they can camouflage. So as we embark on the year of the dragon, which is when the dragon will really be outright and open with what they do, which is why a lot of people are going to die or be killed, is because this serpent dragon has been feeding off of humans for generations upon generations, and he comes to bring a lot of destruction upon the earth. He is the son of utter destruction, and he will pitch the law of Moses in these end of times. But not only that, he has employed and shot out his angels who are cannibalistic in nature, that we learn from in Genesis, that they eat the dust. And I can corroborate this in real life, because for some reason, I'll tell you guys a little story about myself. It's the weirdest occurrence, right? I don't know if this means anything, but 2022 or 2021, I had the weirdest occurrence. And guys, I was a person that hung out with all different kinds of people. I mean, the bee's knees of society, billionaires, darling. That's who I was, jonesing with. And it was the weirdest thing, right? Because within 2 different continents, 3 different people who do not know each other, or seemingly don't know each other at all, said the same thing about me, which I found weird. But I'll let you guys know, because I'm not hiding anything, and I don't really know what it means, but I'll tell you. So in 3 different occurrences, people made mentions to me of being a reptilian. And let me tell you why it's so strange. I was in Africa, right? Africa, completely different continent, and I'm partying up, and this guy comes up to me. And he's actually a successful athlete. I know, guys, it's weird, right? But he comes up to me. He's like, "Are you a reptilian?" I was like, "What are you talking about? What are you saying?" And, I just left it at that, because I'm like, what the frig are you talking about, dude? But then when I went back to America, I told you I have a very successful friend. So this guy is a Harvard mathematician, and he's Jewish. And we're dancing and we're partying. These people don't know each other. And then he twirls me. He says, "Look at my beautiful reptilian." And I'm like, in my head, why do these people keep saying that about me? And then not only that, another occurrence happened. I was still in America. This guy does not know each other. He's a medical textbook publisher. So I'm telling you, these people are successful, and these people really should not be talking about things like that, because in our reality, we're told that's not real. But either way, I'm at dinner with this guy. It's a, white guy. And I'm eating, being me. And he says, my wonderful reptilian. And I'm like, no, what the heck is going on, guys? So in 3 different occurrences, 3 different people who don't know each other made reference of me being a reptilian. And now looking back, I recognize that even though people seemingly don't know each other while we're on this earth, that there is a region above in which these things are going on. So, I left it at that. This is, I don't know what that really means. But not only that, the guy I was dating, he used to say the weirdest things to me. And I'm like, what the are you talking about? He would say things like I was Cleopatra. He was Muslim, but he was from Macedonia, and he would say the weirdest things to me. He would say things like I was Cleopatra, that I could change the weather, that what else did he say? He also made the mention that I was like a wolf. And I'm like, huh? But anywho, I mentioned that story because for some reason I agitate beings that I know are of that serpent nature. I agitate them. They get very angry when I talk, because I'm letting you guys know the truth. So as we embark on the year of the serpent and the dragon, I agitate a lot of spirits, and I do that just by speaking of Christ, just by talking the truth of what is going on. And there are those who are hidden in human form, and they look human just like me and you, but by their words, by their actions. This is the compilation of all the evidence that I have. Well, mostly all the evidence that I have. But I was on TikTok. And, this man threatened to stab me with a sword. And he threatened to stab me with a sword because I talked about the fallacy of psychology and what they're doing. And the truth of this transmuting of light, because that's another talking point that these angels have right now, is transmute your trauma into light, because they want to continue the abuses on you. And he threatened to stab me with a sword. I went into another chat, right? And I talked about Christ again and the fallen angels becoming stubble. And then he tells me that he's going to eat me. Is that something that a human would say to another human? No, but these people look human just like me and you. We have another lady, a Nephilim, she says she is. And I go in there and I teach the truth of what the biblical texts say, of what Christ is going to do. And she says, I'm going to get the human authorities on you. So the way they keep us in chains is by employing mankind who they've made this deal with to give them technology and their little trinkets and their little irons and whatever, so that they can take us as humans as their food source. So I hope you guys kind of understand what this vampire society is. It comprises of the angels, of who we call aliens, those on above, of the Anunnaki, the false gods, and the wolfmen, the people that do those torturous things to humans that has been talked about over and over and over again. But yes, this all ties into, and also the deal they've made with mankind, religious, pious, successful men, not always seemingly religious, but they're very successful. And they've made that deal so that they can sell out their brethren, so that they can continue their food supply in quiet. But now, as we go into the year of the dragon, it will be outright. They will be sucking the blood of many people outright. And this was actually talked about in apocalyptic text. Okay, guys? So this is what I'm here to let you guys know. The truth. And the truth is that the reason why everybody's doing this is because they all want to be God. This is also why it says, woe to those who have given birth, who give suck and all of that. Because the babies, they're going to take the babies and they're going to suck until you are gone. And this is how it's going to go, guys. We are in the fantasy movie. Yes. The dragon, the serpent is indeed who sucks the life out of human beings. And this is what the true what we're really going into. This is the actual truth, guys. You know, the witches, all of that. I can do videos on this and bridge it into reality for you all I can. I don't care. I don't like these people. I find them disgusting. I want nothing to do with them. And you know, they've tried so hard to get me on their side, but they could get a big FU. Ever since I seen what happened with my friend and her son and a whole bunch of kids, I want nothing to do with you guys. And I was never involved in them, really. They just outreach to me, and you know, and I would hang out with them for a while, but I recognize I don't want to be a part with them because they're evil. You know, that's really what it is, guys. But yeah, so the reason why a lot of them don't show you these apocalyptic texts is because they want to make it seem like the Christ is coming back to fight Satan, when that's actually not what it says biblically. It says he's going to call the angels to bring him into the eternal lake of fire. But what he's really coming back to fight is the great kings of this earth, those who have made deals from back then in days of old to continue this enslavement and this torture of humanity. And this is it in real life, guys. I hope I've made sense to you. Share your experiences. If there's anything else I've left out, I hope to make another video, and I'm going to keep doing this. I can't keep going on and teaching scriptures the way y'all want me to. I have to speak the truth about this matrix because it's the truth of reality and it's the truth of life. And, you know, that's what it is. And, you know, the light is going to raise in us and we are going to slay their throats. Okay? So, yes, I hope you guys hear me, and I love you, humanity, which is why I tell you the truth. And more than humanity, those of the light, those who inside could never do the things like the serpent does, those who have his law written on their hearts. Do you know what the true children of Israel is? But you know what? Let me leave that for another video, because now I'm coming in. Now I'm coming in and ain't nobody gonna stop me.